Hey Good Life family, thank you so much for tuning in for today's 128 moment. And for our 128 moment today, I want to look at something that I think we can all struggle with, especially in our modern world. I think the reality is because of social media and our ability to put out opinions, we're kind of always worried about what other people are thinking about us. And I think there's maybe a positive side to that, which is that we should desire to live in community, live in relationship, be able to represent Christ well in our community. However, we also need to realize that if we're constantly living as people pleasers, I don't think we're going to truly live in the freedom that the gospel calls us to. And I want to see this in Matthew chapter 11, because what we're going to see is that even Jesus himself apparently was not capable of pleasing everyone. Matthew 11, Jesus says this, talking about the generation that existed around him. Jesus says, "For John came," that's John the Baptist, "he came neither eating nor drinking, and they say he has a demon. Well, the Son of Man," that's Jesus, "he came eating and drinking, and they say, look at him, a glutton and a drunkard, a friend of tax collectors and sinners. Yet wisdom is justified by her deeds." Jesus is calling out the people and saying, look, John the Baptist, he came and you guys thought he was apparently too uptight or too religious. Now Jesus comes and they won't accept him because he dines with tax collectors and sinners, and maybe he's more free. Not even Jesus could please the people. And how foolish of us to live our life shackled to something that not even Jesus apparently was capable of doing. So instead, how do we live? How do we walk in that freedom? Well, the last verse here says, "Yet wisdom is justified by her deeds." So that would be my encouragement to us, is that when we think about how we're going to live life, or maybe how we're going to present ourselves, at the core of that has to be us following Jesus, us pursuing wisdom from God. And we let the chips fall where they may. Because reality is, if we spend our whole life trying to please other people, we might please some, but we're never going to please everyone. In fact, best case scenario, maybe you please half the people. I could go on Facebook this afternoon and, post about my support of puppies and how I think puppies are great, and I guarantee you there's a million people that'll comment that puppies are actually terrible and they poop everywhere and they're awful and that cats are way better. It's like you can't please people no matter what you do. So my encouragement instead would be, instead of us always fighting this battle of people pleasing, let's act in wisdom. Let's be faithful to God's call, and then let's let the chips fall where they may. Because if we're faithful in honoring God, then I think that we can allow whatever happens to happen. Now, certainly we don't want to exclude people. We don't want to be jerks to people. But I think we have to realize that part of being faithful to God is that we can't please everyone. So let our first and foremost conviction be not people-pleasing, but instead God-honoring and following His wisdom. The church family, thank you so much for tuning in for today's 128. Appreciate you guys. We'll see you right here at 9:30 and 11 in person on Sunday, as well as 11 o'clock online. See you guys soon.